My name's Stephen Landry, the Managing Artistic Director of the Acadian Repertory Theater, and I'm thrilled that everybody's here to check out what we're doing. A couple bits of housekeeping to get out the way. Thanks to our friends here at A.R.T. Acting Unlimited for always being such gracious hosts. If you need the restroom, head on next door to Carpe Diem. If you need to exit because of some act of God or catastrophic event, back and front. And Acting Unlimited Theater 810 are supported in part by a grant from the Lafayette Consolidated Government, which is distributed by the ACA. So on to business. Why are we here? We're here to talk about next season. We're here to talk about 2013. But before we get to that, I want to take care of a couple introductions. First of all, I want to introduce my staff, which I couldn't be happier with who they are. My Associate Director, Atiana, is in the booth, pulling double duty in the back. Our Development Director, Lindsay Finley, is right here. My Technical Director, best in the biz, Duncan Thisaway, is right here. And way hanging out in the back is Kate Schneider, who took care of all of this and who takes care of all of our design and our marketing, and she's wonderful, so a round of applause for her. Acadian Repertory Theater was founded in 2009 on a dream that we could bring a different level and a different style of theater to Acadiana. We took some time in trying to figure out exactly what that meant, and we opened with our first full-length show, Doubt, by John Patrick Shanley in 2011 in September at Bayou Bijou on the UL campus. We followed that up with The God of Carnage by Yasmina Reza here last March, and then over the summer we did our inaugural New Works Festival, which brought 10 plays from 10 up-and-coming playwrights from all around the country here to Acadiana. And we let the audience select what they wanted to see in our 2013 season, which you will see the results of that in just a moment. So here we are, and we're headed forward to offer you our first full-length season. But before we get to our season, we're going to move on to what we're doing in December. So we want to show that to you because it's a first-time thing as well. So we bring you Carol. Ben Jolivet's Carol, A Broken Chain. We decided we wanted to start a holiday tradition. And so what's going to happen is every year we are going to commission a playwright from around somewhere in the country or locally to write an adaptation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. There are 3 rules. Rule number 1 is it has to be between an hour and an hour and a half. Rule number 2 is it has to be family friendly. And rule number 3 is it has to be something totally different from what you expect. And Ben Jolivet has come through with that. It takes place right now. So when you're coming, don't expect too much Victorian things happening. Maybe we'll have some carolers in the front. But other than that, it's all modern and it all takes place today. And we're really, really excited. We're going to be over at the Acadiana Center for the Arts, a limited 3-performance run, the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday before Christmas. So again, that's Ben Jolivet's Carol, A Broken Chain, the first of our Christmas tradition of bringing Carol to Acadiana. And we have, when you walk out the door, a little save the date card so you can put it on your refrigerator and make sure that you show up. So the main reason why we're here tonight, the 2013 season. The 2013 season brings us the theme of Only Connect. Only Connect is something that we talked about when we were setting out to plan our season. What did we want our season to be about, and how did we want it to affect our audiences? And we decided that right now in our world, we're not making too many connections. With all the technology we have, with all the ways that we're separating ourselves from each other, how do we connect? And so we're going on a year-long journey of connecting to our audience, connecting to Acadiana, both through our shows, through our conversations. That's how we look at it. We look at it as a year-long conversation with our audience and our supporters, and we couldn't be more excited. Each show is connected to that theme by a certain and specific element. So I just want to read you, and you'll find these on the cards, you'll find these on the way out, but I want to read you that we're going to be connecting to home, to history, to myth, and to each other. The first way we're going to connect is in February of 2013. We're going to be connecting to each other. This is with Chelsea Markintel's A Place to Land. Chelsea was one of the playwrights that participated in our New Works Festival. It's a 4-man show. It's very fast, very quick, full of one-liners. It's a pretty light comedy, but it has a pretty interesting message. And that's the way that we connect to each other. That's going to be in February 2013. A little bit from the playwright. When Rebecca and Graham start to doubt the strength of their 5-year short marriage, all it takes is a little push by friends, Mio and Casey, to send them flying over the edge. Art is proud to present this character-driven comedy of errors by Acadiana native and participant in the 2012 New Works Festival, Chelsea Marcantel. Chelsea's from Jennings. A lot of you might know the musician Nancy Tabb Marcantel. That's her aunt. And Chelsea went to LSU, got her master's there, and she is now married and living in the Smoky Mountains and doing her playwright thing. And she's also has a social media company that she consults on companies, how they can further their social media presence. So we're going to be thrilled to be doing a show by Chelsea. Moving on to May, we're going to connect to myth. Tennessee Williams' Orpheus Descending. This is undoubtedly the biggest show of our season, and by biggest, no, it's huge. It's a cast of 19. The possibility of a 2-story set exists. It's gigantic. Orpheus Descending is not one of Williams' better-known plays, but it's a play that really strikes home. First of all, we connect to myth by the fact that it's his retelling of the Orpheus myth. But it's set in a small town, and in Williams' own word, the tale of a wild-spirited boy who wanders into a conventional community and creates the commotion of a fox in a chicken coop. But beneath that now familiar surface, it's a play about unanswered questions that haunt the hearts of people and the difference between continuing to ask them and the acceptance of prescribed answers that are not answers at all. Join Art as we explore the conformity, sexual frustration, and narrowness of this southern town and how or if Lady and Val can escape it. Based on the Greek myth of Orpheus, we are thrilled to include Tennessee Williams, one of our country's most produced and important playwrights, in our season. An interesting note, and you'll continue to see it as we go along, and we can plan this. It's all Southern playwrights, so that's an interesting concept that we're going to try to connect with as we go along. We're going to try to get our playwrights to say how their Southern roots have affected their art. Obviously, Tennessee Williams will not be a part of that. Sorry. But we're really excited to present Orpheus Descending. It's a really great show, and if you haven't read it or seen it, we encourage you to come out and check it out. Moving on to the summer. We had so much fun this past summer with our New Works Festival. Why not do it again? So our second annual 2013 New Works Festival will bring 10 more plays, 10 more playwrights to the Acadiana area, and it will allow you, our audience, to help pick out 2014 season. The great thing about it is not only does it expose Acadiana to new works, it exposes Acadiana to a new style of theater, reader's theater. We don't see it done a ton around here, and sometimes, you know, my parents came to see a few of the readings, and the biggest compliment I got was my father saying that he didn't need a set anymore. He could just come sit here and listen and hear and picture everything was going. And sometimes that's great. Sometimes it allows us, you know, when we have everything fed to us on a silver platter now, it's great to sometimes come and use our own imaginations as to what a set might look like, costumes, characters, etc. So look for that in July 2013. Again, that'll be 10 shows. You'll be able to buy packages, passes, and it's only $5 a piece, so it's not too much to check out a bunch of new work from 10 up-and-coming playwrights. Moving on to September, we have one of the 2 winners from the 2012 New Works Festival, David Stallings' Barrier Island. David Stallings is a great playwright out of New York, and Barrier Island is truly a remarkable show. The winner of the 2012 New Works Festival, it tackles the nature of a fearless community that chooses to stake their lives on the strength of the historic Galveston seawall, built to protect the island from natural disasters as they await the arrival of Hurricane Ike. Secrets long kept in the dark soon come to light as anxiety rises with the homecoming of long-lost friends and the storm's fast approach. Join Art as we present the first installment of David Stallings' Galveston Cycle. It is the first installment. There are 2 more to come, and we're going to be thrilled, hopefully, to present all 3. An interesting note, another fortunate circumstance, sort of, this September brings the 5th anniversary of Hurricane Ike, which is what the play centers around. So it's fortuitous that we'll be celebrating not only David's work, but celebrating that instance, you know, honoring the people that we lost, honoring that community, solidarity with that community, because we all can identify with exactly what these people went through. So we hope to see you there. It was a big favorite at the New Works Festival. The other winner was Cody Daigle. And we are going to wait to produce that because we have something coming up. And though Cody gave me permission to have a full season of him, we decided we'd wait a little bit. So after Barrier Island, here comes November, and here comes Shakespeare with the, well, there he is. Shakespeare with the Rep. Shakespeare with the Rep is going to allow us to jump back into the world of the Bard. The final show of our season, as many of you know, because that's why you're here tonight, is Stratford Boy. So what we thought we'd do is have a weekend of readings of the shows that are written in Stratford Boy. And so it's going to allow people to come and kind of get in the mood, get in the world. You're going to definitely hear Comedy of Errors. We'll maybe throw another something or other in there. But it's just going to be relaxed, hear a little Shakespeare, and get in the mood for what is coming next. And what is coming next is indeed Cody Daigle's Stratford Boy. And Stratford Boy, we're going to tell you a lot more about it in just a second. But we are thrilled to have the presence of this show in our season. William and Judith, which he wrote, and I think it closed about a year ago here in this building. It really kind of blew a lot of people away. It was a unique story, a story that none of us had ever really thought about. And as only Cody can, with that certain way that Cody writes, it made us ask a lot of questions. And Cody had been thinking about what was going on in that world, what was going on with William and Judith, if there was more to the story. And he and I were speaking one day, and I said, well, we're going to commission it. And so we commissioned it. And so we commissioned it and the next one. So for the next 3 years, we're going to be hanging out with William and Judith and watching what happens to them. And the first way that we're going to do that is with Stratford Boy. So in order to bring you back into this world, before we get into the reading, we want to show you an extended trailer from William and Judith, just to kind of remind you what took place. So John, if you want to bring those lights down, and we're going to check in with our favorite Shakespeares.
The flower is fallen, the tree descends. O mistress, thou here dischargest me. I shall be gathered, I think so, but I know not thine own will. Unclasp thy mystery. I do hope she was pleased. Her signs were gracious.
Don't say it.
Come now!
Don't say it, Richard. It's awful.
It's not awful.
It's awful.
It's not awful. It's just not you. Now, maybe you need a month or two in Stratford. The country might be what you need to clear a path back to the plays. Your daughter's getting married soon, is she not?
Yes, soon.
Spend some time with your wife and your daughter. Have a wedding. Go home!
I am home. Richard, the theater is my home.
Papa!
When did you?
Oh, we missed you. I hope you're not angry.
Of course not. How long have you been
We
here?
arrived just a few hours ago. It was a surprise.
Yes, it is a surprise.
You are angry.
No,
Mother, I told you he'd be angry.
I am not angry. I am happy you're here. My darling girl, I missed you.
I miss you.
You are looking well.
Mother says I'm too thin.
Nonsense.
Says I should eat more.
Perfect. And I know that man.
How could you do it?
I had no choice.
You live in a world of choices, William.
You do not understand.
You have lived a life chasing choice after choice.
That is unfair.
And everyone around you must stand in the wake of them? If it is unfair, then it is unfair, but I will speak my mind as I always have, as you have always allowed me, and you will hear me. So how go the plays?
Well, they go. The old ones go very well. They laugh where they should, they cry where they should, no one throws a thing. It's all very nice. The new ones go nowhere.
Sure they are very good.
they come now in fits and starts like stubborn children. I have no control over them, and if they decide to fight, and they do, they fight to the teeth. I lose.
You're not dry.
Now it's a sneer, dare, a challenge. Come, conquer me! The words are gone, but the fear comes. Can you do it again, Will? Can you do it again? Write what?
Plays.
You intend to write plays.
And you shall get Burbage to produce them.
I shall?
London will have another Shakespeare in the theater.
Oh, I doubt London will be able to contain itself. It's a wonder, John. What? Judith's play. It's a wonder. She writes, John. She always wrote, always had the spark of the poet about her. But this is a rich and beautiful thing, John. It shimmers like the old plays did.
No one cares about the spirit of the thing. They care about the words. They care about the words belonging to you.
There's no shame in it, Will. We'll find another play. Another playwright. I love you with my whole heart, Will. But business is business.
I have another play. It goes up at the Blackfriar. It will go up with my name. No matter how you protest, Judith.
But I can never forgive you. Because you have erased me. I shall erase you.
So that's where we left off in the world of William and Judith, and we're going to pick that up this fall. Before we get to the selected scenes, well, there's our line. We have a message from the playwright himself. And so, Cody Daigle.
Hello, my name is Cody Daigle, the author of Stratford Boy. You might be wondering why I'm simply a picture of me with someone else's voice doing the talking. The original plan was for me to appear via satellite, but with this being only a 50-seat house and theater economics being what they are, this is all we could afford. Be glad you've got the set, people. So there's the thing about plays. Some of them are born very quickly. You sit down at the computer, open a file, and out it comes, like a flood. Just scenes and words and stage directions that are fundamentally unstageable, but they sound cool. You actors who have been in my shows know what I'm talking about. And it's not always brilliant, and it's not always perfect, but it emerges fast, and there it is, ready for the world. Other plays? Not so much. Other plays are labor. They take their time coming into the world. They're like a big block of stone that you have to somehow carve down into a sculpture. It takes patience and meticulousness and time. Stratford Boy is one of those other plays. So what you're going to see tonight is only a small chunk of the entire play. Much of it is still hidden in the block of stone, and I'm working hard to chip away so it'll be ready for the stage. I'm glad you're here to see what we've got to show you, and I can assure you what's left to be seen will be worth the wait. So a word on the play. Stratford Boy is the first play in a projected trilogy of plays inspired by a passage in Virginia Woolf's A Rome of One's Own, in which she imagines a fictional sister of Shakespeare, Judith, who is equally talented and equally ambitious. In Woolf's version, she's lost to history forever, despite her brilliance, simply because she's a woman. William and Judith, which Acadiana audiences saw last year, is the final play of the trilogy. Stratford Boy is the first. Stratford Boy covers the period in which Shakespeare abandons Stratford and moves to London, and it sets up the writer tensions between Judith and William. Those who know the final play will see echoes and shades of what's to come. I hope you enjoy those echoes. The middle play, The Elizabethans, will focus on the writing of Hamlet and tie the two poles together. As a whole, the trilogy is about what it means and what it takes to become an artist, what it means and what it takes to be good to the people you love, and how often one suffers at the hand of the other. I hope you enjoy what you hear tonight. I love this world, and I love that I'll be sharing this leg of the Shakespeare journey with you, the audience, and the folks at the Acadiana Repertory Theater.
Thanks. I promise those were actually Cody's words. That was my voice. Cody instructed me yesterday to be kind to him when I did an imitation of him, and so I just decided not to because... so those were Cody's words, and he really does, he wished that it could have been more, but as he said, he's still coming up with exactly how things are going to go, and I've seen some more of it, and I promise you, it is phenomenal. So without further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to read 3 scenes from Stratford Boy, and then after that, we're going to wrap things up. But let's get to it. So I want to introduce our cast playing William Shakespeare: Michael Cato, Judith Shakespeare's Monique Araby. A newcomer to the family Shakespeare, Will Kemp, is Mr. Gabe Ortego. And finally, the famous Anne Hathaway, Miss Lindsay Finley. Reading our narration and our stage directions, Mr. Duncan Thistleway.
In this scene that opens the play, we find William Shakespeare and his twin sister Judith in the Nook of the Roots. 1586, spring, a tree near a river, William and Judith sitting together, pages in their hands, books at their side.
Twins.
Twins.
Ridiculous.
Not ridiculous. Inspired. The
I've
Plautus.
read the Plautus. It's ridiculous.
Built to please an audience, an ambition worth pursuing. But we shall do more than please them. We shall delight them, thrill them.
We shall.
The Plautus had but one pair of twins. We shall write 2.
2.
2. Twins, 2 pairs, separated by chance, sent across the world by whatever hand guides such matters. No knowledge of the other, brought together again in the end by the same hand that divided them. And comic scenes all along, of course. One mistaken for that one, the other mistaken for this one. And the Plautus...
The Plautus bored me, Will.
Judith, did you read the Plautus? The twins.
I read it. It bored me. And twins, 2 pairs? It's unbelievable, Will. Twins running around England.
Greece, not England. We shall set it in ancient Greece.
The twins will be Greek.
They're Greek in the Plautus.
Twins, 2 pairs. In Rome?
Ephesus. The twins are from Ephesus. One of each pair was raised in Syracuse. Inspired! Syracuse! It heightens the comedy! I've taken notes.
Why must it be comic, Will? Greek twins, 2 pairs being mistaken for the other. Foolishness, Will, and we are better than foolishness.
We are writing plays that no one reads for players that do not exist. We are the very heart of foolishness.
Why not a tale of love?
Love is ridiculous.
Twins are ridiculous.
Twins. 2 pairs.
I do not wish to write about twins, 2 pairs.
And I do not wish to write about love, which is, to me, as unbelievable as twins giving chase around ancient Greece. Read the Plautus again.
No, Will. The time I have to read is short. I do not wish to waste it again on twins, 1 pair.
We have not yet written a comedy.
No.
This will be a comedy of confusion, Judith. Worth writing.
It will be a comedy of errors, Will.
Good title.
He scribbles it down on a page. They sit for a moment. Something troubles Judith.
Father isn't serious.
You cannot know that.
Christopher Wyatt will marry the Kemp girl.
They spoke.
The elder Wyatt has spoken to every father of marriage where the girl's in Stratford. He whores his sons as though they're worth the whoring. Wyatt's made a wealth of money and 3 hideous sons. He's terrified they'll produce no grandsons. Father isn't serious. He won't marry you off. Not yet. There's time still to write.
I do not feel that time, Will. To you, the world is open, stretching out in front of you. To me, there is no time.
The world in front of me is far from open, dear sister. I have a wife, a child,
Another on the way.
and father's expectations tied as a noose. Time is short for me as well, and I do not want to lose it on a disagreement over Plautus. There you coming, Plautus.
He extends the book to her gingerly. She smiles. He smiles.
In the end of this play of the twins, 2 pairs, I imagine the moment they find each other, lost to each other, they meet. His face is my face, an embrace, joy, laughter, and they're complete. They are us, Judith, each half of the other, no distance too wide to close.
A nice moment. Judith takes the book.
You will write the foolishness, William. I have no interest in writing the foolishness.
Will?
From the shadows, Anne appears, very pregnant with child. Will and Judith both tense, their ease and comfort shattered.
Your father calls.
His mood?
Foul. The players have returned.
Will bolts up, Judith to her knees.
Is it Kim?
I believe.
Kim! Ha! The bugger!
A quick kiss on Anne's cheek, and Will is off, into the darkness calling, Kim! A moment between the 2 women.
Which is that?
Plautus, a very foolish comedy of twins divided.
And you've read it?
Judith tenses.
Women do not read. You know this as well as I, Anne.
Judith moves to go, leaving Anne alone for a moment beneath the tree. This scene opens the second act. At the end of the first, Will has given Will Kemp, an old friend and traveling player in Stratford, to play a copy of the in-progress Comedy of Errors, not mentioning that it was written with Judith. Judith has, in a previous private moment with Kemp, asked him to meet her in private later that evening. Their history is revealed in this scene. It's key to note that the lines quoted from Comedy of Errors in this scene by Kemp are lines that we see Judith write in an earlier scene of Act 1. Early evening. Judith sits in the nook of the roots, waiting. After a moment, Kemp appears. He watches her for a second.
A woman in waiting.
Judith turns, smiles.
I knew you'd come.
Of course I'd come, you asked. We played once a trifle of a thing about a woman in waiting. Italian woman, husband lost at sea. She sits by her window speaking long speeches of romantic drivel. Husband returns, now found from the sea. A tearful reunion, a kiss, curtain, bows, applause. Audiences love the thing, but the country audience always does. Stories of love play well with the farmers and their daughters. I played the husband, of course. He's the lead.
Of course.
You remind me of her.
Long speeches of romantic drivel. Pining for a husband lost at sea.
There's a line that can be drawn.
Do not fancy yourself the lead in this play, William Kemp. I am no sad widow-to-be sitting by her window, wasting words
The
on a
words would
man
not be
whose
wasted. You
passion
missed the
has
point. If you'd
taken
allowed
him
me
out
to-
into the world and
Kemp kisses her. A sudden, surprising move. Judith is taken off guard, but melts into it instantly. It's passionate, loving. The kiss ends.
Curtains, bows, applause.
I've missed you.
And I have missed you.
There are no men in Stratford quite like you.
I'm not
They bore me.
surprised.
You do not.
Oh,
Has the country been kind?
kind as it can be. Cheers at every stage, of course, but the farmers and their daughters have so little to entertain them. Even a bad play is a cause for celebration.
The play is good.
You spin lies better than our playwrights.
It amused.
Our boy has grown a beard. His young virgin was a bit hairy.
That part amused.
Temporary. Soon I shall be back in London with one hopes a permanent place in Burbage's company. The elder Burbage is getting on, but Richard, his son, seems set to keep the enterprise afloat. New blood, he said to me last we were in London. Opportunity.
Good.
A goodly part it is, yes. I would likely not return to Stratford.
I thought there'd be letters.
There is little time to write when we travel a play every night.
You promised me letters.
I speak the words, I do not write them.
I would have loved them. There's so little here to read besides.
Still a secret from your father.
Of course. Will brings me books, but they're mostly a bore. Plautus.
Nothing comic in the Plautus.
He seems to think there is.
Oh, much. He fancies himself a playwright. He hasn't told you? A play from the quill of William Shakespeare. Can you imagine such a thing? The Comedy of Errors.
Good title.
A few scenes. There are jokes in it. The country audiences would love it. But is it a play? Perhaps. Some of it is worth rescue. One line worth the page. I to the world am like a drop of water. That in the ocean seeks another drop. Who, falling there to find his fellow forth, unseen, inquisitive, confounds himself. So I, to find a mother and a brother, in quest of them unhappy, lose myself.
Judith has never heard her lines spoken by an actor before. She is touched deeply by this moment.
Beautiful.
In its jokes, the play is serviceable. He's got a taste for situation, our Will. Wasted on the Plautus, of course. Twins running around Ephesus.
He was told.
But there are moments, a flash of something greater, here and there, of course. Not enough to merit the attention of a Henslow or a Burbage, but something in the fabric of the thing. I to the world am like a drop of water, and that in the ocean seeks another drop. That is the work of a playwright.
Judith takes this in. Kemp moves in physically, holds her. He brushes aside the hair on her neck and lovingly touches her skin, kisses her neck.
Of the parts of you I missed, it's your skin I have missed the most. White, warm, delicate, as perfect as porcelain.
William.
There is no other skin like this in the world.
William, please.
I conjure this skin in my memory when the nights are cold.
I am not an actor in your play, William Kemp. I do not need pretty lines from you.
She pulls away.
Then what do you need?
Marry me. Take me to London. I would leave Stratford in an instant for you. You look surprised. You knew, we've always known.
And it is impossible.
Why?
That you know.
I do not care of the other woman, the country
That
girls.
is not the reason.
Are trivial, I'm not afraid of the
Judith.
city. It is big, yes, but I am ready for... Do not tell me what you are set to tell me, because I cannot hear it, William. I cannot bear the weight of it. Shall I be the woman at the window waiting for her husband to return? Pining for her loss with long speeches of romantic drivel. Tell me the role I am to play for you and I will play it. Please.
You can never play the part, Judith. Your brother has seen to that. A woman who reads, who thinks, who dreams a world as big, if not more so than mine. I am sorry, Judith. That woman can never be my wife.
I cannot change who I am.
Why did you have to ruin it with all of this?
I love you.
And I you. Which you know. But I cannot marry you. Which you also know. Which I have told you again and again. Which is done.
Do not be angry.
I do not see you for months, and what little sunlight there is for us is clouded over. You cannot have more, yet you ask for more.
I ask what is in my heart.
What is in your heart I have no anger with. What is in your mind that you ask for more, Judith? That you know to ask for more. That is the poison.
I gave myself to you.
You were different then.
I was just another country girl looking up at the stage applauding for you.
Country girls become wives. That is what they are made for. My sister is set to marry Christopher Wyatt. You know him, yes?
Yes.
He's an odd one, that Wyatt. Not quite the creature that the younger Wyatt is, but still. My sister, bless her, knows only that marriage is what she should do. She does not know the world of books, of letters home, of stories and stages of Plautus. Her world is an empty one, and she is safe there. Were you able to live in that world, Judith, I would marry you without a second thought. But you cannot.
I can.
Judith.
I can. I shall never read another book again. Touch a quill. I swear.
Judith, please.
A desperate moment happens and Judith claws at Kemp, a broken, sad version of herself.
Do not leave me here, William, alone with the head full of the world. Please. I cannot bear it. The secret of knowing. It is a dagger in my heart every day, every hour. You can save me, William. Please. You know my secret, yet love me anyway. Please save me.
I cannot.
She lets him go. A long silence. Something in her changes, hardens. An understanding of the world breaks into her mind, and it's as if she sees the whole of her life in front of her.
I to the world am like a drop of water that in the ocean seeks another drop, who falling there to find his fellow forth, unseen, inquisitive, confounds himself. So I, to find a mother and a brother, in quest of them, unhappy, lose myself. I wrote those lines, William, not my brother. Ask him. You are never welcome here again, Kim. Go to London, erase me. Curtain bows applause.
She leaves him alone in the darkness. This scene takes place in the middle of Act 2. Judith and Anne have just squared off over Will's teaching her to read and also Judith's writing. Judith has asked her to keep Will in Stratford any way she can and prevent him from taking full credit for the play. Judith leaves, and Anne is alone for a moment. Anne sits at the table, silent. She is alone for a few moments, then Will bursts into the room.
He loves it. He thinks the players will put a good word forward with the companies in London. It needs work, of course, but all plays need work. The bones of it, he says. The bones of it are good, and the bones are what one needs to make a life on the stage in London as a playwright. There's a chance that life is not Stratford at all, Anne. There's a chance.
He finally looks at her.
Anne?
I will not go. I will not discuss it, for there is nothing to discuss. I will not go to London. If you go without me.
Why?
You know.
I do not know, Anne. I do not know.
You know. My home is here.
Your home?
We have
Our
our
home
children.
here?
We have more than a home here. We have a life you seem to be content to leave behind without a thought, without a consideration.
I consider you, Anne.
As it suits you. And your comfort, that is the only consideration.
I'm not meant for a life in Stratford.
That is a misfortune, then.
It is, Anne. I'm not meant to live my father's life.
Your father lives a good and solid life.
A life that no one sees besides the farmers and tradesmen of Stratford.
Good men.
Men who are nothing. Men who are born, who live, who die. Anonymous as the ground they till and the women they marry and the children they sire. Children who live anonymous lives in turn, again and again. I do not want that life, Anne. I do not want
the life you have. If you did not want this life, then why did you build it?
Anne.
Why did you promise me a love when your love was miles from here?
Anne, please.
You cannot have London and have this family, Will. This you knew. You knew without question. And now you must decide. One, Will. You can only have one.
That is not fair.
You will not speak to me of fairness.
I cannot choose.
You must!
You will come with me to London if I say we go to London, and that is all.
No! How dare you speak to me of fairness, as though you have earned it like a birthright. Fairness Will wants, but fairness is never what Will gives. He does not know how to be fair, because fair is difficult, and difficult is as foreign a land as London to you. Words from a silver-tongued boy on a bridge under moonlight, and my life has changed. I am a wife to a man I barely know. A beautiful, brilliant man who spins glorious stories, but a mystery. I bear his children, I tend his home, I love him as I should, as women are expected to love, and mine is a story written in stone. You cannot tie me to a life I did not ask for and expect me to carry it like an anchor wherever you choose to go. You have led me here, Will, and I have taken up the burden gladly, because I have come to love you as I love my own life. But I will not go to London. You can only have one.
Silence. She moves to him.
Choose me, Will. Please.
Will struggles.
I cannot.
Anne is devastated by this. She creates her distance again, sits, silence for a long while.
I am a story written on the wind, and the pages I write will carry me to London. There's something there, Anne, that is more than I can fathom, more than I do not have the words for it, but I will go to London and drown in words until I have the language to describe it. I will write plays. I will spin them tales they have yet to dream of. I can feel that world, Anne, inside me, lifting, rising, fighting to be anywhere but here. I need you to understand this. Please.
I do not.
Then you do not understand me.
I understand more than you know, Will. And one day you will sit in a room of pages of the words you so desperately seek, and you will find they are not the life you think them to be.
Perhaps I will still go to London.
Silence. The mood shifts. Anne realizes in this moment that fighting is of no use. He's gone.
Kemp says the players might try the errors on the way to London. A country audience knows so little, but they know enough to assure if the jokes are good and the story holds. I could work on the play before London, perfect it, and when I arrive...
And you will ask Judith for help with the parts that are hers?
Will is uncertain for the first time in this scene.
How did you know?
She told me. How the two of you carried this secret is a marvel in itself. That should be your play, Will. Fantastical. The country audiences would adore it.
Did you tell my father?
Of course not. He would disown her and cast us out. I've told no one. You will tell them it is also hers. You must. You cannot keep Kemp and the players and let them believe. You must.
I cannot. I have already told him the work is mine. And if I were to admit...
Admit what is true.
True it may be, but a woman's words will never play even the country stages. And they will never play the stages of London. And I have written the heart of it. Kim has made her believe that she has given it life where I had given it nothing, but he liked a line of hers. A turn of phrase she gave the play, but the play is mine, Anne. She did not want to write the thing at all.
But she did.
In pieces.
Pieces you will claim as yours.
They are mine, Anne, because they cannot be hers. She's not to have the means to read, much less create them on her own.
That is your doing, Will. I shall stay in Stratford, raise our children, remain your wife. A life written in stone is still a life. and I will live it as best I can. Take your story written on the wind and live it in London. Be who your heart desires to be, and be content with it. But carry this. You have written a life for your sister in fire, and it is uncertain and dangerous, and she will struggle to survive it. She has a taste for a life she can never have, a life you will drink from and grow fat on. The story on the page is finished when the play is done. The story you've written for Judith, I weep for her.
Anne rises and leaves the room. Will is alone. It's a very empty room indeed.
So there we have the beginnings of Stratford Boy. I personally can't wait to read the rest. I'm sure neither can Cody. But it's wonderful beginnings, and it's happy. I've been thrilled. You know, that I was telling someone the other day that to be in on something at the bottom floor and to watch it grow just as we've watched it grow just the last couple, 3 weeks as we've talked about it, and then to hear it Thursday night when we were here was amazing, and to hear it again tonight was fantastic. And we hope that next year, we're probably going to have a developmental reading of it sometime in January or February. Then it's going to go for further development to Playhouse Tulsa, to have a reading there, which some of us are going to try to make. And then next November, we'll see the full stage version here. So it's kind of a thrilling thing. And so we hope that you join us on this journey and that you connect with us the whole way around. Before we go and before I close up, just a couple words of thank you. First of all, again, at Theater 810 for having us. It's always fantastic to be here. Thanks, Walter. Thanks to Duncan for putting this together. We at the Kid Repertory Theater apparently don't know how to do things quietly and small. And thanks to Kate and her husband Jason for helping us put together this multimedia presentation. And thanks to you guys. Thanks to the company members that are here. Thanks to the community members that are here. Thanks for the support. We look forward to growing with you, connecting with you throughout the year. As you walk out, my Associate Director, Atiana, is going to have some brochures. So it's a save the date for Carol. It is, again, an explanation of all the shows that are going to be part of our 2013 season. And then in the back, there's a couple things. There's, first of all, we're going to be offering season subscription packets for the first time, which we're really excited about. And it's going to explain the levels, the cost, and what you get with each subscription level. And also, it's going to be because, and I never like to talk about it, and I always get fussed at for not talking about it. It's also a section on how you can support us. And so if you have any questions about that, we encourage you to contact our development director, Lindsay, development@acadianarep.org. It's on there. My business card is on there as well. We want you to get in touch with us. We believe from the beginning, before we even came up with the Connect idea, that the best way for us to be your theater is for you to feel like you know what's going on and that you're connected to us. So get in touch with us. A few things to look out for. We will be starting with Carol a new YouTube program. Every week when we're in production, we will be bringing you Tales from the Script. Yeah, that's right. Tales from the Script, where you can follow us through the rehearsal process, through our development process. So we'll be posting that link on our Facebook every week. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and all the usual things, and just keep an eye out for us. And again, Carol in just a couple months. Thanks to the cast. Thanks to all of you. And if you have any questions, talk to me out in the lobby. Thanks again. We'll see you in December.